Welcome to CPG Vibes. No scripts,
just chat.
I'm Alex Baer.
And I'm Wade Yenny.
Each episode is recorded live, and we talk all things food and beverage, and so much more.
Feel our vibe and search for CPG Vibes on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and make sure to give us a 5-star review.
If you'd like to sponsor our show with your product or service, email us at cpgvibes100@gmail.com.
Now, let's vibe.
All right, welcome to episode 159 of CPG Vibes. Hope everyone is doing well. Wade, nice pink shirt.
Thank
Pink,
you.
right?
Yes, it is. It's from
Real guys wear pink.
Well, I thought we were having a fiesta today, so
This
is from my favorite wrestling themed bar in San Antonio, Texas, El Luchador.
Yeah, remember when you first got that last year?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Good stuff. Anytime you're in San Antonio, you always have to stop by El Luchador.
Yep, Cinco de Mayo comes early this year, right?
Exactly right.
All right, just couldn't wait. Had to bust it out a couple months early. I love it. So this is our expert series, volume 10. And, we've had a lot of these. It kind of blurs on what we're talking about. We have investors on, we have brands on, we have all sorts of things going on. But today it's going to be that one. It's going to be brands, the brand spotlight. And we're bringing on, in no particular order, in about 10 minutes or so, we have Hamid Saify. He was teaching me how to pronounce his last name. It's safety without the T. He's the CMO of Lucky Energy, which just coming off a huge fundraising round that I posted in the chat of 14.2 million oversubscribed Series A1 round. So huge news. I'm sure we'll be talking about that on the show. Congratulations to the Lucky team. I'll leave the F word out, and you can tell us the story behind that. I think there used to be an F word in it, and then they took it out and all that. We'll talk about that too, because I'm curious about the marketing. Oh, and we also have Carla Spiropulo, Nelly's Organic, one of my favorite chocolate bar. I think my favorite chocolate bar of all time. And she'll be coming in. She's the CEO and founder of Nelly's Organic. And Nick Wiseman, who is the founder of Little Sesame, a delicious hummus dip. So we'll be bringing them on in about 10 minutes. Couple laundry list items to talk about here. First off, let's see. We're the number one rated CPG podcast in North America. Got a little scary scary is the wrong word, but a little concerning. We were, not getting a lot of ratings in, and there was another competitor trying to catch us, and we suddenly just boomed in the ratings. We got 25 ratings overnight. So make sure to keep us at number Flamingo today. You're a coconut cult ambassador, right?
There you go. Right.
The Flamingo. So make sure to keep us number one. Go to Apple Podcast or Spotify. You literally click on our beautiful faces, scroll down, and click 5 stars. We also have our CPG Vibes Newswire, which comes out about 1 to 2 times a week. All the latest news in under 10 minutes, usually under 5 minutes. So make sure to tune into that as well. We have sponsorship and block rates. Make sure to email cpgvibes100@gmail.com. And we get you some information on that. And we also have our back wall sponsors, and that's Feel Free, Melting Forest, and Dream Makers. And Dream Makers is an accelerator by Jeff Church. Make sure to Google him, look him up on LinkedIn. It's a great program. He coaches a lot of emerging and young brands to scale and grow their brand. And I think we covered we got our YouTube channel, YouTube. I almost forget that one. YouTube.com/@CPGVibes. Within about an hour or two after the show, maybe a few hours, because Wade has to eat first and then go back and upload the episode. We will upload it for you, and it'll be accessible almost right away on YouTube. And then with Spotify and Apple Podcast, where I'm literally uploading it the minute it ends, I click it, and within an hour or two, you have access to that when you're on your walk or in your car, if you want to listen to us again, which everyone would want to do, right? So, Wade, how are you? I didn't ask that.
I'm doing great. Well, we got focused on the pink shirt, so
I got distracted.
Exactly. No, I'm doing great. It's been a great week with work. Had some successes, some wins, some travel, not for me, but for the team this week, for V Driven. So we had a very successful week. I announced I'm now on the advisory board of a brand, Larissa's Kitchen. So
congratulations.
I'm excited. Thank you. I'm excited about that, helping them in their journey.
What is it? What is the product?
Meat snacks. Meat snacks.
Meat snacks. Okay.
Yeah, very good, very good product. It's it's kind of an off subsidiary of Jack Links, so it's excited to get started with them and help them along the way.
Right on. Very cool. Very cool. All right.
So it's been a productive week.
Yeah, very much so. And I gotta also I wanted to not be competitive, but at least be on par, or maybe slightly behind you, and have an interesting shirt that I'm wearing. I normally don't wear shirts. I wear like collared, or I have like a hoodie on. Even though we're in Southern California, I wear hoodies. But this is a 17 or 18-year-old shirt from Ruka, the skateboard, the skating or whatever. And they released this. It was in a bin of, discount items they're trying to get rid of. And I looked at it, and it has kind of this, I don't know, like kind of a Masonic reference to it. It has like the all-seeing eye and has owls on here, like the back of the dollar bill. I said, that looks really cool. And I grabbed it and wore it ever since. It's really, really comfortable. I don't want to scare people at public events, so I just usually cover it up, but it's my Ruka shirt.
I like it. Well, it's not a wrestling bar themed shirt from San Antonio, but it's there. It's right up there.
It's a discount themed, bottom of the barrel
skating
right before the store went out of business. Macy's pickup. That's what it was.
I like it.
Yep. Okay. Well, without further ado, and we're going to be bringing on our guests. We're actually running early, which is cool. Oh, I got to mention one more thing. I can't believe we forgot, because it's new. There's no script, just chat. We don't prepare for shit on the show. We may miss things, and this is a classic example. We have our new ongoing sponsor, so that is Shelf Made. So we teamed up with Ashley Rogers, who is the CEO and founder of Shelf Made, and she founded also Buff Bakes and also Spudsy, which went to acquisition. And and again, didn't practice this, but should have. If you go to their website and put in the discount code CPG Vibes, you will get a discount of $100 off their membership. They have a quarterly membership and also an annual membership. So that's really valuable. There's experts on there. I know they're in talks right now with a certain individual. I won't say who it is, but we're looking at them right now. And, and so they have experts on there for beverage, food, and the whole gamut. And there's a chat feature. It's all done internally at shelfmadecpg.com. I'm sorry, shelfmadecpg.com, CPG Vibes discount code. And what is Shelf Made? If you're a founder in the CPG space looking for support, strategy, and a no BS roadmap to grow your brand, check out Shelf Made. It's a membership built for product-based entrepreneurs who are ready to scale. And you get $100 off. And the membership annually is $9.99. And if you do it quarterly, it is $297. Take $100 off, $197. Great access on there. And then I'm also an expert under Beverage. What's the coolest thing, and I'll shut up about it after this, is that you can schedule one-on-one calls when you're a member on this platform. You can schedule one-on-one calls with the experts. So if you're a beverage, schedule it with me, or there's others on there. Hopefully with me. If you're a food product, schedule it with a food expert. Supplements, health and beauty, the whole gamut. So it's a really cool platform, all run through Circle, an app on your phone. So it's awesome. So
the only thing you forgot was today's sponsor.
Well, we're going to be talking about that later. Okay. Wink, wink.
All right.
So we'll delay it to next week, but let's, they got moved. So, but let's talk about bringing on our guests here. So we have, and I'm going to put on some music here. I'll put on this music. I like this one. Use this for our we have no particular order. Saify with Lucky Energy Bev Company.
Start that over, Alex. You were mumbled there.
Okay, I'm just going to turn the music off.
There you go.
So we have Hamid Saify with Lucky Energy. We have Carla Spiropulo with Nelly's Organic. And we have Nick Wiseman with Little Sesame. How you guys doing?
What's up, everyone?
Great, how are you?
There's always like an awkward silence in the beginning, like who's going to talk first, who's going to say something. So I love it. It's when we're a little bit nervous, it means we care, right? We care. So anyway, let's get started by going through introductions. So we're going to start on the upper right here. So we're going to go with Hamid, Saify. Welcome to the show, my man. And I'm going to precursor this. Introduce yourself, where you're from, and one thing about yourself that really not many people know that you want to announce publicly on our show.
Okay.
Hamid, you're first.
All right. Yeah. Appreciate you guys having me on, by the way. Definitely a privilege. So thank you guys. I'm Hamid, CMO at Lucky Energy. We're a simpler, better for you energy drink brand. And I would say the one thing that not many people know about me, I kind of fuck around with people a lot about this. So I'm like, once I'm out of CPG, I want to be a garbage man. So I think that's like the one thing not a lot of people know about it.
Interesting. Like the guys that drive like the big trucks.
No, I don't even want to drive.
And...
I want to be on the back of the truck, having fun, hanging on for dear life, like, you know, rubbing a little kid's head when he comes out to say hi to the garbage man, like that kind. That's my life goal now.
You should get a job at Disneyland, like as the garbage man, like part-time, you know?
Dude,
you're like,
that's too much excitement for me.
Too
like
much
people
excitement.
Are not excited. Too much excitement. Yeah, I need to temper that.
You're like the Goodwill Hunting of garbage men. You know what I mean? Like for people that have seen the movie, he works as a janitor, right, at like MIT, the top college in the country. And he's a super smart, brilliant guy that's, doing great things outside of that. So that's kind of, you're the Goodwill Hunting of LA.
Yeah, I find like Nelly's Organics in the trash, and I just like tell the brand story. Like, I remember this time I was on this podcast with so and so.
And it's always going to be eaten. It's never going to be half eaten, right? You're going to find only the wrapper. Yeah, hilarious stuff. That's one we've never heard on the show. All right, so Carla, welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me again. I'm Carla. I'm with Nelly's Organics. We make refrigerated candy bars. And what was the other thing? Oh, what things people don't know about me? I'm from Argentina, maybe?
Something a little more, I'm going to press a little harder on that one because I'm sure some people know. Something a little more like, just something that not many people know that you're comfortable sharing. Putting you on the spot, but that's what we do on the show. We push back hard.
I think most people don't know anything about me. So I think, I really can't think. I'm vegan.
Okay, that's a good one.
I don't know.
Okay, that works. That works.
Yeah.
All right, welcome to our show, and love the bars. By the way, just be remiss to say that I've been eating the Nelly's bars for years, and my favorite is the almond crunch one. That's my absolute favorite, followed by, for obvious reasons, the coconut one, and people can guess why the coconut, right? If you know my background. All right, and we have Nick Wiseman with Little Sesame. How you doing, brother?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me. So yeah, I'm Nick Wiseman, one of the co-founders of Little Sesame. We're based in Washington, D.C. We make premium hummus product, distributed mostly in the natural channel. We just launched our first to market kids line. Something about me that you don't know. I had plenty of time to think about it, and it was, pulling hairs. I grew up cooking in restaurants, so I'm a restaurant guy at my core.
Okay, which makes a lot of sense. And then did you personally formulate Little Sesame and go in the kitchen and all that good stuff?
Yeah. My co-founder and I met as line cooks up in New York City on the fine dining circuit, and sort of hatched our dreams of Little Sesame there.
Right on. Cool.
Very cool.
All right. So I'm just going to open it up with a fun question, which is like how your brand got started. We don't need the full, memoir book version of it, but just kind of a 1-2 minute spiel about your story and like how you got the idea, how you started it, and where you it really hit you. This is an idea I want to bring to market and make this product, make it a reality. So I'm going to start with Carla about when you got the idea, where you got the idea from.
Okay, so yeah, when I started making the bars was when my kids were very little. So it was about 17 years ago that I actually started making them. And once I made them for a while, and my friends liked them, their friends liked them. I thought I would sell them at the farmer's market just to make some extra money. That was I never intended to start a business, never imagined that it would get to where it has gotten today, which for us is really a lot. I know that in the CPG world, maybe we're very small still, but it's been a great journey, fun, a lot of ups and downs, but it's been a great ride.
I have one follow-up question for you. And we talked, on the phone last week for like, God, probably over an hour. And it was just fascinating where you entered this category of refrigerated chocolate when really, there was a perfect bar chocolate chip, maybe that was like the closest it really came that I saw. But as far as now where the category has grown, what are your thoughts on that from just seeing all these newcomers come in and the category growing, and like, just what are your thoughts and feedback on that, and how has it affected your business?
It's actually been great for us. We've not, I mean, we've been growing every year. We're not trying to grow to, overnight to 100 million or 50 million. So we don't have investors. So we kind of go to our own pace. We can do that. Pros and cons to having investors, obviously. But for us, initially in the beginning, we didn't raise money because raising money is a skill. And I didn't have it for sure. So nobody was giving me money in the beginning. It was, and I don't blame them because it was pretty bad. But I think I think it's great. I think, there are other chocolates in the category, and then just more bars in general.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been good for us. It's been great. I mean, it builds the category. I think having just two people in the category, it's too, maybe you get lost more. I don't know. It's not, we've had no issues with it so far. There's room for more people. It's not like, I'm not trying to own the whole 3 shelves of stuff, right? As long as we're in the game, I'm happy.
Yeah. I think, there's, now there's like maybe 5 or 6, right? We have the midday squares. We have, there's another one that I'm missing. We have a Honey Mamas. Honey Mamas. And so the coolest thing, the most fucking kick-ass thing about your story that I just want to emphasize is that you saw this as a category before really anyone did, right? The chocolate refrigerated category. And you made a bet on it early. You worked your ass off. And you started building it and having success. And then the category came to you, as we talked about. Like it came to you, they raised a bunch of money to bring more awareness around it, and then you benefited off of that. So there's no 100%. Better feeling. There's no better feeling when you call something early and then that category comes to fruition. It's a really cool feeling. So you deserve all the success. So
no, and those are all great products. I mean, I buy other people's products all the time because I get tired of my own. So there's a lot of great products in our category now. So it's a win-win.
Absolutely. And they're all like differentiated too, which
totally.
I like. Yeah. Different experiences and different taste. So we're going to pivot over to Hamid. I actually don't know the story of how Lucky started. And I know, again, we kind of grill a little bit on the show. So I want to hear about the whole thing where the F word was in it, then it was taken out, and just tell us that whole story and how it started.
For sure. So Lucky Energy was founded by Richard Laver, who kind of a master formulator, but his claim to fame is he launched a brand called Kate Farms, kind of the nutritional kind of plant-based food space. So Richard, coming off the success of Kate Farms, just wanted to do something new. And what's interesting is that Richard's background is pretty insane. Like, he survived a plane crash back in 1985. It was a Delta Flight 191 that crashed. It killed 136 people, including his dad that was on that flight. He was 12 years old at the time. Kind of a mess, trying to figure out his life, dealing with the tragedy of that, figured things out. And then he had a kid named Kate. Kate was actually born with cerebral palsy. And, despite these like challenges of life, like Richard really built an amazing life for himself. So his stepson gave him a bracelet that said "Lucky Fuck" on it, like 6 or 7 years ago, like a long time ago. And so when it was post Kate Farms and Richard was like, what do I want to do? Energy is something that he wanted to kind of play around with because it was like a rebellious category. You can kind of have some fun with it. And Lucky Fuck was the original name. So the original Lucky can had Lucky Fuck F***CK. And it was a tall boy can, 19.2 ounces. We eventually knew that we were going to move out of that can. It was really a disruptive, let's just get as much attention in digital as possible, really break through. And then on April Fool's Day of last year, we actually introduced our rebrand in packaging, which had a piece of like tape over the fuck. And it's been interesting. I mean, the brand, I think the tape is like the thing that people are always trying to figure out, like what's under the tape. Like we did a US Open thing where we had coaches of a couple of tennis players wearing Lucky shirts on the side of the court. Had so many people just inbound messages about like what's under the tape. And once they found it out, they were like, oh, I hate it because it's my kids are watching this and how dare you guys like da da da. But that is the origin story. It's a story that's kind of rooted in perseverance, you know, spirit of resiliency, and you know, triumph over tragedy.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know that entire story, and so it makes it even more powerful. And I'm sure, you know, when you're connecting, especially with retailers, and I'm sure you also say this on social media, the full story behind it, how it started. And it's hard. I mean, the energy set, I don't know a ton about it, but I know it's hard as hell. And so having a really compelling story is very important, right, to connect with the customers. How about the product itself before we move over to Nick? Like, what's in the product? What makes it different from other energy drinks?
Sure. So yeah, Lucky Energy is a simpler, better for you energy drink. It's got 33% fewer ingredients than the average energy drink out there. Very familiar, kind of nostalgic flavors. You know, we currently have 6 flavors that are out right now, and all of them kind of interesting names, but all taste that feel very familiar. And I think from the taste profile, like what we're getting back feedback, and I'm not just saying this because everyone wants to get into the soda category now, but when you think about like what does an energy drink taste like, we all probably think about a shitty Red Bull we had in some place like 20 years ago. These flavors really taste a little bit more like soda, but there's 200 milligrams of caffeine in them. We position on 0 sugar, 0 calories, and there's 5 super ingredients inside each one. So maca, beta alanine, taurine, ginseng, maca, and then caffeine as the 5th super ingredient.
Right on. Okay. And then thanks for sharing that. And then Nick, I mean, I'm personally you sent some to us, so thank you for that. About a year ago, it was almost a year ago, and so I love the green one. I think it's the jalapeno, I believe.
Yep.
And you can see like on the bottom, you know, like the actual jalapeno. It's really cool. So big fan of it. Wade's a big fan. I think his wife's a big fan as well. And but tell us your story and more about the product and how it started.
Yeah, no, back to restaurants. So Ronan and I met, like I said, cooking on the New York City fine dining circuit. Anyone who's worked in restaurants kind of knows family meals an important part of the day. It's when, you know, all the cooks and front of house staff get together and get to like, you know, it's a bit of a reset before a busy dinner. And, you know, Ronan was like always famous for his family meals. You know, it was like, there was always like the cooks everyone wanted to cook, and then some they didn't. Ronan was one everyone wanted to cook. And, he made this freshly spun hummus that just like kind of blew us all away. And I kind of stuck with me 10 years later, I'd say. We spent a few years in the line together and then parted ways. I left New York City and came back home to Washington, D.C. and jumped back in the restaurant business here. And then, you know, I had an idea to kind of build a restaurant concept around hummus. And of course, Ronan was top of mind. And so he was still up in New York at the time. And so we've sort of first iteration, we launched Little Sesame as a pop-up in a 500 square foot basement, making, you know, freshly spun hummus in a little tabletop mixer. And people just loved it, you know, kind of lined up we opened on a January day. It was brutally cold in DC. People lined up out of the door and really started to like gain some attention around the hummus we were making and how much better it was than what people were used to getting off the grocery store shelf. And so we ended up building a first brick and mortar in 2018. End of 2018, and then you know, kind of put together some funding and ready to start to, you know, add more shops. And right on the eve of pandemic, and boom, pandemic hit. And so, you know, for us, fortunately, we had a product that transited very well to CPG. Right, it was, you know, we had to shift distribution strategy like everyone did in those operating restaurants in pandemic days. And so we did 100,000 free meals out of the back door for folks in DC, and then out of the front door, we started selling hand-packed pints of hummus. And we were stumbled into by a Whole Foods forager who was like, "Hey, you want to commercialize this thing for Whole Foods?" And Bill Gwynn was his name.
Yep, no Bill.
Give a extra big hug every time I see him at a trade show. But we landed in Whole Foods doors in the end of 2021. And it's been kind of a fun run ever since. We built our own manufacturing. We still make 100% of the product just outside of DC. We're now distributing around, I don't know, 3,000 doors or so, but Whole Foods and Sprouts nationwide. And yeah, it's been a great run.
Awesome. Right on. And then what's your favorite hummus? I got to ask that.
It's a good question. We just launched a green goddess hummus, which is at Whole Foods now nationwide. I'm loving it. It's the new one is always, new flavors always get you, and then you kind of revert back to the classics. But
Yep.
It's got mint, tarragon, parsley. It's got that like nostalgic feel. Tastes very springy. So that's what I've been digging into most recently.
Right on. I would say the Simple Mills with your hummus is a great combination. That's what I use it for on the road. So little promotion to Simple Mills. So, all right, Wade, I'm going to turn it over to you. Just next question.
All right.
Let's keep it going.
I'm going to ask all three of you the same question, and I think it's great that we have three people on with three different categories. But with my background, category management and looking at things, these are three of the most competitive categories in the center store, without question. Well, actually, I would say hummus probably is in center store, but nonetheless. And I'll start with Hamid talking about the energy drink category with regards to how are you differentiating yourself and what's your strategy to, you talked about the Red Bull and, I think going back, I always refer to that as like baby aspirin. That taste is just, and you reference the taste, but I mean, it's from a marketing perspective and go to market. How are you differentiating and making yourself stand out?
Yeah, I think the core thing is like the energy category we feel like is very homogenous in one way. In terms of flavors, like in terms of marketing, especially like if you look at like the top 4 or 5 energy drink brands out there, maybe with the exception of like Red Bull, everyone kind of looks and feels the same. It's very bro coded, very masculine. Everyone's got a 6-pack, like pretty people around a pool. It's all kind of doing the same thing. And I think coming in with Lucky, it's like we're kind of building a more inclusive type of energy brand, but also one that embraces entertainment and embraces like entertainment as the point of differentiation. I spent the last 4.5+ years of my life at Liquid Death. And, even prior to Liquid Death, I've always been one where it's like, why do brands bore you by just telling you what's in it? Like no one cares. Like, because everyone can just replicate it or do the next thing. It's like really hard to have a differentiation off of an ingredient or whatever for a long period of time. And so what we're really trying to build here is this idea of like loyalty beyond reason. If we can like tap and connect with people at an emotional level, make them smile, think, feel something, cry, share, like that's the kind of world that we're trying to get into, where we're building like a cult-like following on like how we make people feel. And then the benefit is we also have a product that tastes really good. We have really high repeat rates. Our NPS score is 84. Like we've got a great product. But when you look at our social and when you look at some of our ads and campaigns, they don't lead by telling you a lot about Lucky Energy. They don't tell you about what's inside of it. It leads with like, how do we get you to stop and, respect your time to have you watch something as you're scrolling through your feeds all day and every day. And then we pay it off with some kind of a product benefit and why you should care about this particular brand. So, that's how we're positioning, is like, we're not going to outspend anyone else, but we will out creative some of the players that are out there.
I love that. Okay, so Carla, talking about the refrigerated bar category, I know Alex referred to the evolution, and when you entered, there weren't a lot of players, but now obviously it's kind of blowing up, and there's a lot of how are you differentiating? How are you innovating? And how are you maintaining your shelf space as all these new brands are coming into the category?
Well, I think that by the time that it grew, I think it's been blowing up in the last couple of years. We already were well established in the stores that we were in, moving really, our velocities are really good. So I think we didn't lose space because of that. And so we haven't promoted anything. It's a little bit embarrassing. We don't have the money to do the big advertising campaigns. And so maybe I would love to at some point down the line to do a professional campaign, because the stuff that I've done online on social media, I'm doing the social media because it's really bad. I just repost stories people do. And then a lot of our videos that are there are just videos that customers created just for free. So I just repost them, which is really great. But again, I don't know. I don't have great insight on how to. If I had to launch today, I probably wouldn't make it.
Mm.
I don't know. Our product is good. We do have great repeats. The only reason, the only place that I can see the repeat business is our website, because I don't know how to, I don't know who's rebuying at the store, obviously. And our also data, we don't buy data because it's expensive. And so we just try to save money everywhere we can. Maybe that's not the smartest thing, but it's what we've done.
Yeah. I think it's very, sorry to interrupt, but I just have to, jump in and say, I think it's a very smart thing. It's different based on the category. It's different based on what your goals are and what the roadmap is for your brand. And not to talk too much about this, but Carla, you are like a shining example. I'm flattering you, I know, but you are a shining example of how to run a brand long term. Self-manufacturing, slow and steady, going into the right stores, being patient, focusing on velocity and repeat purchases. I know you can't measure it at Sprouts or Whole Foods, but I can tell you it probably fucking kicks ass. I can guess, because the product is great and it catches your eye at the market, at the shelf, with the flavors and the name of it and organic on the label. So I think it's a brilliant way to build your business. Not many, there's different ways to do it, and depending on the goals, depending on whether you have investors or not. To each his or her own, right? But in your case, you did it, I think, the right way, and you built it in a solid way, and you're not, you're not trying to blow up overnight. You're making this a long-term, family-run business into something bigger and bigger by the year as the category grows and as you get more customers. So again, I just want to highlight that. And then the self-manufacturing is huge. Yes. So, making it locally and having full control over the quality of it and tasting it off the line, like all these things that you care about and your family cares about, really shines through the product. So I just want to give a big kudos to you for that.
Yeah. Thank you. And I understand that, if we erase some of it, it took me 11 years to go national with Whole Foods.
11 years. Wow.
Yeah, and I don't know how many emails I sent to Sprouts before they even answered me. So it's not, I don't move fast, but once we're in, we stay in. And that's the big, and we've been in nationally with Whole Foods 2.5 years now, and we grew a lot last year. So I'm so happy to hear. But again, that's our success story, is that we stay in. I think getting in the store is great, but staying in and actually doing well that's where I think most of us can agree. That's where you feel like, okay. And I get worried. I still am like, oh, that never goes away. I'm never going to feel secure that it's just, we're cruising.
Exactly. Yeah. You keep pushing and, slow but sure. And, product price point also great, $2.99, right?
Thank you.
And I gave it to one of my friends. I love giving it to friends for the first time, and they're obsessed with it. I love that, the reaction, the first bite. So, and then we're going to go to Nick now. Same question to you about center store, about keeping your shelf space and strategy, and also distribution.
Yeah. So, I think we, thinking about differentiation, we started with trying to bring this restaurant quality hummus to grocery store shelves. And so we were the early folks to amp up tahini and really get a super smooth texture on the product. That was kind of new when we started. Now you're seeing more and more folks do it, which is great. The second one was from early days, we built a regenerative supply chain. So we worked with a single grower at first, a guy named Casey Bailey out in Montana. He was at the time plastered on the back of Annie's mac and cheese as a symbol of regen organic farming. I had known him. We had a personal relationship, and somehow convinced him to sell me 50 pounds at a time, which is obviously not how it works on 7,000 acre farms in Montana. But he was kind of an early pioneer of regenerative organic. And so we were kind of the first in the category to build regenerative organic. And, that's enabled us to be a fully organic line. We were the first hummus to earn clean label certification, glyphosate-free residue. There's been a lot of chatter around glyphosate and chickpeas. So again, kind of building that supply chain right from the very beginning has really helped us there. Now we work with a network of growers across Montana and the Great Plains to source our chickpeas. Then we try to think about flavorways a bit differently. So not just the same flavor playbook you've seen on repeat in hummus category, but thinking about things differently. So we launched a Fly by Jing collab. We did a Mexican street corn collab with the folks at Tacombe. we so just trying to think about the category and flavors a bit differently, and do fun collabs with brands that we admire, and then new form factor. So I talked about, we launched a kids line. We were the first to launch a kids line. I have a little box of me here now, and that went live at Whole Foods a few months ago. So just like new form factor, I think we try to think about these relationships with the retailers as like win-win. How do we actually like really grow the category, not just like bring a new flavor that's going to cannibalize another flavor? And so, for us, kids was about really being accretive to the set and driving new dollars, a new consumer, a new user occasion. So those are kind of the ways we've thought about like growing the category and the things that we think we do differently. Keeping, and then again, I think back to what everyone else has said here is like, at the end of the day, this is a pretty like manual business. It's a lot of like blocking and tackling and just execution in store. And we really focused, when we were in 14 Whole Foods, I was like in and out of Whole Food walk-ins every day, and building those relationships on the ground level. And I'd say that's still really relevant to sort of our success now, which is like, how do we show up and kind of build those ground level relationships and be really supportive partners of our retailers? And that's like our buyers all the way down to the store team members, and building good merchandising teams and field teams that go out and like really evangelize the brand in store as well. So that's, I would say that's not, without wanting to repeat what everyone else has said, I'd say that's like our hot take.
Yeah, it's definitely a grind, just like you're grinding those chickpeas into hummus. Terrible joke, but people laugh. Thank you.
Nice.
And then as far as what is your kind of longer term strategy, Nick, whatever you can share on where you want to take the brand? Do you want to stay? Are you just in natural? Do you want to start crossing over to the Safeways? And are you already in some of those conventional stores? And then what is kind of the vision for building it? And then do you want to sell it? Do you want to keep it for a long time? I know there's investors on board, so I imagine you want to exit sometime in the next, let's call it 5 to 10 years. Tell us more about your vision on the company.
Yeah, there's so much runway in hummus. We're excited to keep pushing here. We obviously, we've played with some analogous products. We launched a tahini sauce at Sprouts. So, we've dabbled outside of like core competency, but again, like I think for us, hummus is home, and it's kind of, we will add, at our core, Ron and I are still chefs. So like our best days are in the R&D kitchen. We still run all the commercialization ourselves. So like the one day a month we're on our computers, we're together in an R&D kitchen. We're building a new factory right now, and we're building a dedicated R&D kitchen. So that will be a fun place for us to play. So we'll definitely keep pushing the envelope, both on flavor of hummus, but also, exploring what's beyond. We do have, we didn't go the self-funded route. It's really hard. Again, kudos to doing that. It's, it's a cash intensive business. We are venture backed. Do I want to exit? I certainly, to them, yeah, we do. It's, but it's not like, I would say there's a long way to go. I kind of view it in milestones of like, these are the sales targets that we want to hit over time, and we want to build a really healthy business that's going to be valuable to somebody else at some point. And so,
right.
I think the internal metrics are like building a really healthy, strong business that's adding value to consumers out there. So
exactly. I mean, that I would echo that. I'm not a VC or private equity guy. I'm not an expert in it, but definitely just building a valuable brand that's well known, respected, solid margins, self-manufacturing, vertical integration. You have all those checkpoints there to make it an appealing brand where someone will just come to you and say, knock on your door and say, let's buy you for X amount. So it's kind of like, if you do the right thing, someone comes to you, right? That's the way I look at it. All right. So, wait, it's actually funny. I'm kind of smiling here because I saw in the chat, and these guys are busy as hell, right? But they decided to hop into the show just to check out the brands and say hello. And I remember back, I think it's been almost a year, like last April or March, we did bring them on. They were in the channel, and we're like, hey, let's bring these guys on. We typically don't do this, but because it's them, and because, I think they also have something coming up, right? They have an event. I would love to bring them on, just no script, just chat. So I'm going to send them the link, and I'm not going to say who it is, but I'm going to send them the link, and they're both on, which is even more rare. And they both have almost the same name, which is also very rare. So let me get the link out, and we'll get them on here. I emailed it about a minute ago. Oh, okay. They just popped in here, and there he is. Okay, there's both of them. Wow, one guy's outside, one guy's inside. How about that? So just for a few minutes here, Danny Stepper, LA Libations, and Dan Weisbach, also with LA Libations. Just want to say hello. How you guys doing?
What's up?
Welcome, guys.
Good
All
show.
right. Thank
Enjoy
you.
listening to it, man. Big fan of Lucky Tape.
I
Lucky
appreciate that. Yeah, just lucky energy for the future. But if you know, you know. Yeah.
Congrats on the raise, man. It's a big raise.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, we've been fortunate enough to been able to get people to give us their money, which is always good. So we'll take it and we'll try to use it wisely.
You didn't call us to let us kick the tires on it. You should have.
Hey man, we're scratching the surface, man. You know, next time around.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming by and popping in. And it's been almost a year, but it's reminiscent because, the subject right now is the beverage forum. As much as I want to talk about you and both you guys, I'm going to keep it less personal and more about what's going on. So the beverage forum, I know I'm going to be making it out there. A bunch of brands will. Since it's coming up, might as well talk about it while you're here.
Love to. I'll jump in and then Dan, you can chime in. Feel free. But just want to thank you guys for what you're doing. You guys are really important to the founder community, and you're doing the Lord's work. So this, this game is so hard. It's such a blood sport. So it's just really important that people get a microphone like you're giving them. So props to you. So Beverage Forum. Yeah. So just to kind of get you up to speed, it's a 30-year-old iconic industry event. It had gotten pretty sleepy, to be honest with you. And we bought it in December of last year. And it was always in a dungeon of a hotel in Chicago. And it always had these incredible keynotes, like it's alc and non-alc. So like the CEOs of Coke and Pernod Ricard were the keynotes, but the audience was kind of half empty. And you'd have like a bottle cap guy from Louisville. And then on a networking break, you'd run over with a sales sheet to the CEO of Coke. It was like the weirdest thing. And so when Michael Bellis came to me last year, he said, look, Danny, this is my legacy. But I'm done. I'm 84 years old. I have no more gas in the tank. I've shopped it around. Nobody really wants it. What do you think? And I instantly love the idea, but like I do with everything, I ran it by Dino because usually my crazy ideas, he says, we're not doing that, dude. But on this one, he's like, let's do it, man. This is like, we're built for this. Let's do it. So we bought it in December. It was very ambitious. The first thing we did was move it to Manhattan Beach so we could kind of control it in our backyard. And we bought it in December. We put it on in April. It sold out. Everyone showed up. Downey launched our coffee brand, Happy Coffee there. And that was
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. That kind of went beverage industry viral, if you know what I mean. And it's funny, we're in business with The Rock, with Gwyneth Paltrow, with Michelle Obama. I asked them all to come to Beverage Forum, and like DJ's like, Danny, I'm not going to Beverage Forum, I'm The Rock,
Mm-hmm.
But now that Downey did it, what we did is we lined up every retail. You can't name a retailer that didn't come last year, and this year it's insane the amount of you literally cannot name a retailer that's not coming in force. And we're talking CEO, chief merchant level. And so what we do is, we lined up Downey, to get him to Walmart and 7-Eleven and Kroger and Albertsons. It's private jets, it's hair and makeup, it's security, it's expensive, it's their calendars. But we put Downey on stage, and in one morning, we lined up meetings for him. And, his brand was in 10,000 doors, in one morning. Wow. So the word's out, like every celebrity with the brand wants to come this year, and a couple great ones are coming. I'll keep it a surprise. We've already announced Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton's coming, but there's some other ones that are coming as well. But look, it's in a world where everything's hard in 2025. If you're in beverage, and I'm sure snack, everything's hard, right? And for us, everything's hard, despite what we post on LinkedIn. Everyone's like, you're killing it. And I always say, like, we only post the good stuff, like every day is a shit show, and, a crisis we wake up to. But, well, everything's hard. Beverage Forum's the one thing that's not hard. Everybody wants to be a part of it. Everybody wants to sponsor it. Everybody wants to be on stage, and it's awesome. It's really got a life of its own. And one of the reasons why Dan and I popped on here is, I think your community here is a lot of early stage founders, and Beverage Forum's pricey. It's $1,700. And so we wanted to come on here and see if we could. Thanks for having us on last minute, by the way.
Sure.
We wanted to come on and offer like a winner. I don't know how you guys pick a winner, but pick a winner and offer $1,000 off for someone to win to your community.
Okay.
So yeah. So that's out there. Let us know who wins, and we'll be happy to have them. There is a pitch slam, which is kind of fun. So 45 seconds, founders, very early stage founders. There's a 14-year-old kid's going to be on stage.
What kind of brand?
His brand is a beverage. It's I'll just spill it. It's called Lemonuka. It's a Manuka honey.
Oh, Wade, you like that one?
Yeah,
I'm a
fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some really cool brands. I mean, we're very blessed. A lot of people wanted to do it, and we got to be a little picky. So the brands that are up there are really good. Last year it was a circus. I mean, we had founders coming up on stage in costumes, and you got to imagine the entire industry is here. Like Dan hates it when I say this, but if a bomb goes off at this hotel, like there is no more beverages. There's literally no more beverages because everyone's there.
So Danny, one more thing, because we're running low on time. You got to talk about the Rivian thing. What's going on there?
So last year, we have a hole-in-one contest at the West Drift in Manhattan Beach. Actually, I'm talking too much. Dan, why don't you talk about it?
Yeah, man. So I'll take a step backwards and talk about our day jobs, decide what we do at Beverage Forum. And we'll get into Rivian in a sec, I promise. So hello, everybody. I'm Dan Weisbach. I lead up SIP at LA Libations. It's an acronym, and it stands for SoCal Incubation Program. We help early stage beverage brands land their first key retail accounts, build that data story that everyone needs to scale, and eventually bring brands into the holy grail of natural retail, like Whole Foods and Sprouts. I'm personally super passionate about spotting what's next, working hand in hand with founders like we have on the call today, and making sure great ideas actually make their way to shelf and ideally stay there. So at Beverage Forum, what we do, and it ties into the ethos of everything we do every day at LA Libations, is help elevate all these brands. Now, going back to the hole-in-one thing, it's super fun. So what we're doing is we have a closest to the hole competition, golf. And if somebody actually hits a hole-in-one, they're going to get a free Rivian, which we're super excited about. I think it's going to be an awesome event.
I'm going to go leave the show early and practice at West Drift. Which hole is it?
So the happy hour, it's really cool. So it's going to be during the happy hour, and the happy hour literally overlooks this par 3 hole.
Yeah.
So everyone's watching people shank them into the water. And
Right.
Last year, one guy hit the drone. It's comedy. And so that'll be during the happy. We have a bunch of little Easter eggs. Like last year, after the show ended, I stayed around the hotel and had meetings. I noticed everyone was going to In-N-Out and bringing it back to the hotel. So this year we thought we'd just make it easy. Everyone, we're having the In-N-Out trucks come to us for the wrap party that's sponsored by Coke and Molson Coors. And so, yeah, there's a lot of little Easter eggs like that. Beatbox is throwing a welcome party, which those guys know how to throw a party, let me tell you. So
Very cool.
We'd love to have you guys.
Good stuff.
So awesome stuff. And then just go to beverageforum.com, right? Beverageforum.com to buy tickets. And then I remember last year it sold out pretty early. So I guess hurry over there, right?
Yeah, it's amazing. I know we're running short on time, but sponsorships are completely sold out, which is crazy to me. And it's like 10x what the owner before us ever did. So everybody really, it just speaks to how much the industry is starving for something like this. But yeah, tickets are going to sell out probably a month in advance, which is next week. So get your tickets if you want to go get them now.
Cool. All
Love
right. Danny Stepper, Dan Weisbach with LA Libations. Thanks for popping in, guys.
Keep it up, guys.
Thanks,
Thanks
fellas.
for
Appreciate it.
dialing us in and keep it up. We love what you guys are doing.
Appreciate it,
Thanks
guys.
so much,
Thanks.
Yeah.
Take care.
Do it.
All right, so we're close on time, but I want to try and get one more question in here, Alex. So
Okay.
I'm going to take this around to everyone.
Sure.
We hear all the time, and it's probably not the right timing to ask this, given the news today with Lucky Energy. But talk about capital being tough and how tough the market is, and just in general, capital aside, what is your outlook for 2025? What are your plans? What are you looking to achieve this year? And I'll start with Nick.
And Wade, I want to add bolt one additional question, a very quick question.
Okay.
What would be one piece of advice you would tell yourself? Go back in time, take the DeLorean when you were just starting your brand, a piece of advice you would tell yourself when you just started. So those are the two things: is outlook for 2025 and advice to your earlier entrepreneurial self. And we'll start, Nick, right? We'll start.
Right.
With
Yep.
Don't do it. No, I
that was mine. Oh.
I mean, we have an exciting year ahead of us. It's been, again, like a really good ride. We're still so new on it. The CPG for us launched really like early 2022, late 2021, early 2022. So, we're really excited. We're starting to break out a natural channel, hit some new doors. So a lot of new distribution planned for 2025, which we're excited about. And we're building a much bigger facility. So we're rolling into like a just north of 25,000 square foot facility, where we'll be able to really control the product end to end. So excited about that. Our first facility was a second generation space. We were kind of like working around the bones of an old building, and now we're building our kind of dream facility. So excited to get that built and see what we can do with it. So I would say that's like, and in general, the market's been funky, but and I think it's always the most catastrophic moment in this current moment. I feel like that's how the news cycle has us believe. And I think just at the end of the day, customers are finding really good products, and I think it's the onus on us to make sure we're competitively priced and driving as much value to shelf as possible. Because I think when you drive real value to shelf and you tell a good story, it will ultimately resonate. So I think just us, being focused, good, disciplined operators, and again, the rest will take care of itself.
And are you sticking with your advice of don't do it, or is there any updated advice?
Here I am. My advice is done it. I would say, it's advice. This feels trite because everyone says it, but it's come up on this call. I think it's just like this business is at the end of the day a lot of blocking and tackling, right? It's just like showing up and doing it every day and making sure products on shelf and you're building a good brand block and focusing on velocity. And so that's I would say that was the advice I was given. Focus on your backyard. Don't go deep in a region where you have strength and relationships, and again, focus on that execution piece, and grow from there.
Great. Carla, how about you?
So I forgot to mention that we are launching minis this year. So that's what we're doing. We have our top 3 flavors that we're doing minis. And we did build a facility last year that we moved into this year, or actually we moved in the end of last year. And that's been really great, having more space. And so that's been, well, that's the past, but I guess for the future, it's just the minis and just to keep growing. I don't have anything like written as a plan, but it's just to keep growing and stay where we are and just, what else? Yeah, the cacao market's been crazy for us, but it's for everybody. I mean, so we're trying to figure that out and we don't want to raise our prices. So we kind of are trying to save money everywhere else, like boxes, and try buy larger quantities of things so I can get better prices.
Just a technical question for you, Carla. Is it, are you using cacao, cocoa, or both?
It's cacao, but I mean, it's cacao butter that we use in our bars, and the cocoa bean or cacao bean. I don't know the difference. Yeah,
probably the same thing. So you're being adversely affected by just those prices, like directly. Sounds like
as is everybody.
Right.
So it's it's just part of the growing, not growing, but just like being in business. It's you take the good with the bad.
Yep, I remember Genius Juice with coconuts. It's like, oh, it was it's 12 baht. Wow, what a fucking amazing price for a young Thai coconut. Then suddenly, dry season, no rain for 4 months, and now it's 30 baht. It goes up like triple. So I know the feeling. So hopefully it comes back down and normalizes here for our sake and your sake, because I want to pay $2.99, not $3.99.
We don't have any plans to raise
good.
Also, we're okay for now. We're absorbing and just kind of shifting things, and we're okay.
Cool. Great. Very smart. And then one piece of advice you give to your former self?
To myself, probably I was thinking about it when you asked it. It's like I would say to myself, don't worry so much, because I just can't help myself worrying about stuff that hasn't happened, could never, maybe is never going to happen, and and that's a personality thing. I think I think it can happen to anybody, whether you're in business or not. But it just things have always worked out so far, knock on wood. So
Makes sense.
Just come up, and so yeah, just write it out.
Cool.
Chill a little bit. Yeah.
Awesome. I agree. All right. So Hamid, you have the last word here before we go into the prize.
Yeah. Yeah. Lucky Energy, you know, we had a really good year one. We have a thriving digital business, but we know this is beverage, so it's all about a retail game. No ship 15 pounds of liquid across the country. So we're in about 10,000 doors right now. Our goal by the end of this year to get to about 15,000 doors, primarily C-store focus for a lot of this year, but we have, you know, pretty big retailer and grocery that's coming on board in the next couple of months that we'll announce. We won about 9 divisions of that. So that's positive news. And I think just at the end of the day, it's like, we just want to keep on, you know, bringing entertainment and energy and just luck to people, right? So how we show up in the streets to how we show up on social media to across the board, I think we just need to feel different and give someone something good to feel good about. And then piece of advice for myself, I would just say, probably just like be you, like be really who you are. I spent so much of my career trying to fit into like some little box. Like I didn't have creative on my title, so I couldn't be a creative person. Or I didn't have this on my title, so I couldn't be a so-and-so. And I think it's just like, you know, show up how you show up in life. And one of my biggest goals is, this is crazy, I want to present on stage somewhere with an actual gold tooth, like a grill in my mouth. Like that is the goal for me. I wanted a gold tooth when I was a kid. I never did it. And my wife gave me like molds for like have a full grill. So I'm going to do that. Maybe at the next Beverage Forum, I'll be on stage with fucking gold teeth in my mouth presenting about beverages. That's the goal.
It's so funny.
Nice.
You know, for whatever reason, my mind, when I think of a gold tooth, I go in a different direction from you. I think of Home Alone.
Yeah.
Joe
Where Joe Pesci had the gold tooth and then it got knocked
Dude,
out.
I'm going to look just like Joe Pesci anyways. It'll be a hoodie and a fucked up beanie.
There we go.
I'll be there. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get the accent going. And you'll
Yeah.
be right there. All right. So we're going to go. I know we're out of time here. Thanks everyone for sharing your story and just everything. It was just a wonderful, wonderful episode in total. It was awesome. So thank you again for being on and spending the time. And we're going to go into our prize, which is, this is huge. I mean, we went into the show not even having a prize because we punted our sponsor for next week. But Danny Stepper and Dan Weisbach have graciously offered a prize of $1,000 off the Beverage Forum ticket. Normally $16.99. It's $1,000 off. It's pretty much the hottest event around, especially the hottest in LA, happening. What is it, Wade? April 29th and 30th, I believe. Right here. When I say here, because I'm in LA, it's going to be in Manhattan Beach at the West Drift. So the question is, if you get a hole in one, what do you win?
Nice.
Whoever answers first gets $1,000 off.
There you go.
Beverage Forum. And it is giftable as well. So if you're in New York and you can't make it, find someone in California and you could gift it to them, preferably a brand, but whoever you want to give it to. Usually always a delay, and it all comes in at once. Luke Abbott, he said he wants to win it.
There you go.
Okay, who got it? Okay, looks like, a free round, Luke Abbott. I think he knew the answer. He just didn't answer it. He wanted someone else to win. So Derek Gould wins the Rivian. Wins the $1,000 off, and then he'll get the whole one to win the Rivian at the show. So can you tell I want a Rivian? So, all right. So next week on our show, before we exit out, is we're going to have Expert Series Volume 11. So we're going to keep this going, Wade, with our special edition episodes. We have 3 in a row, actually. We have the one today. We have Expert Series CPG Shutdown Stories with Andrea Popova and Erica Rankin, and we're working on one more guest. They're going to talk about just going through CPG, what it's like to shut down, what they learned from it, and how they pivoted. And then the week after that, April 11th, is the Canadian show on 4/11, sponsored by Robert Kogan. So that's going to be a fun show as well. So thank you, everyone. Thank you to our guests, Hamid, Carla, Nick. Thanks for coming on.
you.
Love all your products, by the way. I buy them. So take good care. Have a good weekend. We will see you all next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.